Hello, friends. Let's travel to a place made of dreams, to a beautiful town called Gingerbread Glade. Every building in this town was sweet and wonderful, dusted with powdered sugar snow that never melted. And this is Pipkin Peppermint, the cutest, cheeriest little elf you ever did see. Peppermint loved to bake more than anything. Today he was preparing for a very important day. Tomorrow was the biggest party of the year, the Glade Gala, and Peppermint was chosen to bake the centerpieces. The recipe was for the legendary rainbow swirl cookies. They needed one magical ingredient to make them glow. Peppermint knew these cookies would make everyone smile right down to their toes. Quickly, Peppermint needed to get that special ingredient before the big baking could start. He skipped past friendly neighbors and past all the sweet-smelling houses. His destination? The giant, swirling sugar tower pantry, where all the town's best baking secrets were kept. He hurried over to the special top shelf where the very best jar was always kept. Inside, the pantry was quiet and cool, smelling of cinnamon and sweet cream. There he saw Barnaby Buttercup, the very important head baker, who looked like he had seen a ghost. "Good morning, Barnaby," chirped Peppermint. "I'm here for the drizzle dust sprinkles." Barnaby just pointed a shaky whisk at the empty shelf. "They're gone, Peppermint," she whispered. "Vanished." Gone? Peppermint felt a huge bubble of sadness pop in his tummy. How could the Glade Gala possibly happen without the magical sprinkles? The cookies would be plain. "Wait!" Barnaby pointed. "Look, Peppermint, a little trail of sparkle." Peppermint saw them too, tiny glittering clues. Someone had taken the sprinkles, and Peppermint was going to find out why. With a deep breath and a quick wave, brave Peppermint set off on a sparkle chase. The trail of sparkles led Peppermint right out of town and onto the busy, chocolate-paved road. He had to be very careful not to lose the tiny, shimmering path. Soon he arrived at a massive bridge made of spicy, red-brown cinnamon sticks. Sniff, sniff. The air smelled wonderfully spicy as he walked across the big sticks. A lovely little peanut butterfly fluttered by to say hello and give Peppermint a tiny, friendly tap. Across the bridge, the crumbs led straight into the most colorful place in all the glade. It was the candy cane forest, full of huge, twirling red and white stripes. Peppermint had to squeeze and jump and wiggle to get through the thick, sweet canes. Aha! There was a crumb nestled on a cool, minty green leaf. Peppermint saved the tiny clue. Suddenly, everything went a little shadowy. Peppermint looked up, up, up. Perched on a plum was the magical sugar plum fairy, watching him with wise, twinkling eyes. She said in a soft, musical voice, "Little elf, you follow a sparkly clue. To solve the mystery, you must ask what is true. Oh, please, kind fairy, begged Peppermint. "Do you know where the crumbs are going?" The fairy pointed her wand to a place where the colors faded. "The path of sweet must sometimes go through the shadows," she warned. Peppermint thanked the kind fairy and knew he had to be brave. He kept going, right where the fairy pointed. He had reached the wafer woods. The trees here were big, flat, crinkly blocks, and the mood was quiet and a little bit spooky. Crack! A loud noise made Peppermint jump as he climbed over a cracked wafer log. He hurried on. But look, the crumbs were right there, a big, shiny pile. Peppermint was getting so close. And just like that, the trail led Peppermint out of the spooky wafer woods and into a patch of sunshine. This place felt different. It was very quiet, and nobody seemed to visit here very often. His sparkling trail led straight to a tiny, plain little house made of simple, brown gingerbread. Peppermint frowned. This didn't look like a scary thief's house. It looked quiet. Very gently, Peppermint stood on his tippy toes and peeked through the foggy window. Inside, sitting all alone, was a very sweet but very sad little gingerbread mouse named Crumble. Crumble was trying to make something, but her baking looked lonely and sad. And there they were, the beautiful drizzle dust sprinkles, but Crumble wasn't baking with them. She was just staring at them sadly. Peppermint realized something very important. Crumble wasn't a thief. Crumble was lonely. Peppermint took a breath, and very gently, he tapped on the little door. Squeak! Crumble jumped high in the air. She was so frightened to have a visitor. Slowly, slowly, Crumble opened the door, just enough to peek out nervously. "Hello there," whispered Peppermint, giving a calm, kind smile. "I'm Peppermint. Are those the missing sprinkles?" Crumble nodded sadly. Her eyes were full of tears and shame. "I didn't mean to be bad," cried Crumble in a tiny voice. "I just wanted to make a happy cake just for me." "Oh, Crumble," asked Peppermint, and gently closed the door. "Why did you need to bake all alone?" "The other children wouldn't share," Crumble mumbled sadly. "They left me out. I felt too lonely to feel like celebrating." Peppermint's heart swelled with understanding. Poor, sweet Crumble. "I am so sorry, little mouse," said Peppermint. "Leaving someone out is the sourest thing of all." Peppermint reached into his little licorice satchel. "I know just the thing to help," he declared. "It's the best recipe for cheer, a chocolate chip-sized hug." Peppermint gave Crumble the biggest, kindest hug. Crumble felt a smile bubble up inside her. The hug felt warm and safe. "I feel so much better, Peppermint," said Crumble. "We must take the beautiful sprinkles back." "We will," agreed Peppermint. "But first, let's bake your happy cake, right here." Peppermint held the wonderful recovered drizzle dust sprinkles. They glittered like 1,000 tiny diamonds. Peppermint was determined to make sure Crumble had his happy cake too. The new friends started baking together, stirring and mixing with big smiles. Peppermint shared a bit of his own special butter to make the dough extra yummy. Poof! Crumble laughed when she accidentally flicked flour onto Peppermint's nose. Peppermint giggled too. "Teamwork makes the best treats," he said. They put their little cake into Crumble's tiny acorn-sized oven to bake until golden brown. Soon the smell of warm, sweet gingerbread filled the air. Sprinkles in hand and happy cake in the other, the two new friends walked back to Gingerbread Glade together. Walking through the wafer woods now felt easy and fun because they had each other. They crossed the spicy bridge, giving a cheerful wave to their butterfly friend. Back at the pantry, Barnaby was still frowning and sweeping, wondering where the sprinkles could be. "We found them, Barnaby," cheered Peppermint, "and we made a new friend, too." Barnaby stopped sweeping. She looked at the sprinkles, and then she looked at the shy little mouse. Peppermint explained how Crumble had felt lonely, and how he learned that kindness is the sweetest ingredient of all. Barnaby sighed and smiled at Crumble. "I think you're right, Peppermint," she agreed. "Kindness is the very best ingredient." "Let's bake those cookies," shouted Peppermint, and this time they got to work, all three of them. Peppermint, Barnaby, and Crumble worked side by side, mixing the dough for the glaze gala. Even a tiny Crumble helped. Standing tall on a stack of cookies, she carefully sprinkled the magical dust. Foom! The cookies shimmered and glowed with beautiful colors. They were perfect. That evening, the glaze gala was the best ever. The hall sparkled with lights, and everyone was happy. Everyone ate and danced and laughed together, sharing the sweet moment. And there they were, the wonderful rainbow swirl cookies, glowing brightly for all to enjoy. Barnaby raised his cup. "A big cheer for our hero, Pipkin Peppermint." The whole town cheered. Peppermint blushed and wiggled with happy pride. But Peppermint quickly brought his new friend to the stage. "And a cheer for Crumble," he said. "Crumble helped me learn that the drizzle dust sprinkles taste sweet, but kindness and sharing taste even sweeter." The other children smiled and waved at Crumble. They knew Peppermint was right. They rushed over and invited Crumble to join their game of marshmallow toss. Crumble laughed and played, the happiest little gingerbread mouse in the whole wide world. Peppermint and Barnaby shared a cookie. "It tastes just like joy, Peppermint," whispered Barnaby. After the glaze gala, Peppermint walked home feeling very happy and joy with all he had done for his town. And he never forgets to check along the way in case anyone or anything needs help. He look around and everything is fine today, so let's go home. Finally, it was time for sweet dreams. Peppermint was tucked snugly into his cozy gumdrop bed. He watched the starlight twinkle in through his little window. He was happy that he found the sprinkles, but even happier that he found a wonderful new friend. With a gentle yawn, Peppermint whispered, "Kindness always tastes the sweetest." And as the whole town drifted off to sleep, the sweet glow of friendship lit up in Gingerbread Glade. Good night, little friends. Remember to always be kind and be sweet.